Hi, my name is Irina. Welcome to my studio and the finally finished journal. She is a big baby. She is a big baby. Look at that. And I actually took extra pages out already. I was making her to be even a bigger baby. You know, she's a bigger baby. She was supposed to be a bigger baby, but that was enough. Okay, so she measures, let's see. Let's get a ruler. 9 by, I don't know, about 6.5. And in the front, she is 4 inches. Well, 4.25 probably. Same in the back. No, the back is round, so I don't know how much the back measures. But this is how she looks like. She has a wrapper around her, and she has a lot of stuff hanging from everywhere. On top, it's like between every signature I have made. I'm not a beading person, so that's all I can do. But I use beads, and there is 3 angels on top. And there is an old doily I got at the antique store, and I cut it to size, and I did not glue it in the back, you know, because I don't know how it's going to expand. And I also think that it would be cool to maybe, you know, clip something here if you wanted to, because all of these little things you could clip stuff on, and there would be more in the back. So if it's like in your on a shelf or something, and there's even more stuff hanging, I love it. I love everything that, you know, hangs and moves and you can touch, and I don't know, anything and everything that's a little bit interactive, I love. So this flower ensemble was sent to me a long time ago. I had these 2 flowers, and I just rust dyed them, and then I put some of the, I forget the name of the spray. It was not Tim Holtz, it was something else. And it wouldn't spray, so I just touched it here and there with the nozzle. And then I glued these underneath, and all of this I glued to the burlap. And then I put some fray check here so it doesn't fray out. I coffee dyed, or I rust dyed actually, the little closure here, my lace. And this just comes off. It comes off because I think it's easier to write in a book when it's flat in the front. And I have hand stitched this on top so it stays where it belongs, right? And this is glued. And I was worried that the glue is going to show, but no, we're good, you know? So this can be put aside while you write, or you can take it off completely and just keep the book like that and do this, you know, whatever you want to do with the closure. It depends. Now, there is, you see, I went around the sides. I forgot the stitch. I forgot the stitch name. I have learned so many stitches, I haven't learned names, you know, but it looks like that. So when you open it, and wherever my thread ended, I have decided to put little charms on, and I rusted them. So they have, some look rusty, some look like they have patina, is that how you pronounce it, on them, you know? And there is some beads in between, a little flower, anything and everything, you know, like a butterfly, more beads. I have a heart, I have a dolphin with a heart, you know, then I have another heart here, some beads, another bird, another flower. There is more hiding there. There's another bird, and a teeny tiny bird. Teeny tiny bird, you know. So there is that. This is the cover, and I will show you the middle. It lays not super flat. It lays flat, the cover, yes. But this doesn't lay super flat, okay? Because it's a big baby. But the way I made it, it's still, you know, you can still write. You can still do your stuff. But first of all, let's look here. I embroidered this. I embroidered this myself because I'm into embroidery right now. I learned embroidery a month ago, I think. Something like that. I started, let's say. I didn't know you can do all of the stitches, but hey, here I am doing all of these stitches. And I used bling in this journal, and I used beads in this journal. So this somebody sent to me, an old piece of lace or whatever it was, and I hand stitched it down to this fabric. There's two different fabrics, and there's an Amazon envelope in between. So it feels really good, you know, it's flexible. But yeah, I stitched it on the sides. It's a cross stitch, I guess, in white. I don't think you can see, but you know. And then I put beads on the bottom. So basically there is little holes. How can I show this? Can I show this with this? I do not know. Little holes where there is nothing here. But I figured we are not gonna put little cards in there. We are gonna put bigger cards in there. And I did not put anything in there because it's so chunky already. I'm thinking about printing out the junk journal letter, you know which one I mean? I forgot, maybe it has a name, and just sticking it in here. So okay, let's start. This is a digital I made myself. I showed it in one of my videos. You can make digitals with old things you find, and it's amazing. My friend showed it to me and she saw it somewhere else, and I believe the YouTuber saw it somewhere else. And it's like, I was just amazed. I'm like, what? I can make my own printable? So basically it's something, it's a printable, but it's unique because I made it with the stuff I had. I drew this flower myself. I have gotten this picture from an antique store, you know, and this might have been sent to me or from an antique store as well. So there are things, just pay attention to copyrights, okay? And I put, as you can see, I put some lace and stuff on here. And then I just made a little collage of things that were around me, I guess. And then this was packaging paper. And it was folded up in a way that kind of reminded me of pockets. And I was like, okay, I'm going to use this as pockets. This was folded in this way already, you know. So I used it and I just glued it down. And it became a pocket, right? I just need to... This is, I made it myself, of course. Almost everything here I made myself. I don't need to say it, right? And I just glued stuff on top of stuff, and I, you know, sewed it with my sewing machine, and voila, you get a little journaling card. For me, it's a little hard all the time, though, to put stuff inside pockets because my hands are not very good. But trust me, it's a pocket, and it's actually easy. And then I had this one. My machine does different kind of stitches, so I used up, probably, I didn't make it for the journal, I believe. I think it was just the thing that was in my stash. I used up a little piece of leftover paper and I stitched 2 flowers on top. But then I put little circles on there, so they just hang there. Like I said, I love everything that's hanging around, you know. So then I took a tea bag, I guess, and I just stuck a piece of paper in the back so you can write on there. And then you can write on this little journaling card as well. This was in my stash. I like to use up stuff that's right here, you know. I don't want to buy stuff or whatever. I just like to use whatever is right here. And then there is a pocket in the back as well. And I made journaling cards. Oh, this says 9. It's number 9. And this is just a stamp on a piece of paper. And then I stitched a little bit on top. You know, it's like, I had fun. I think that was made in my weekly projects for my mental health. That I come in the mornings and do it. And the butterfly die cut, or die, that I haven't used in a little while. I got it. If there's things to fix, I'm going to fix them right here while I'm talking to you, okay? Because otherwise I will forget. However, I didn't do it justice. I ordered it for my birthday, and then, you know, I barely cut anything with that. And it's too big for a whole, like, this piece of paper. So I just cut out half of it and I stuck it down, and I think it looks super pretty. And the paper is with mica powders and everything. It's a little glittery. Then here I have another decoration, side decoration, I guess. And this is just punched out with my punch that I have. And I put flowers that I had with little flat back pearls on top. And I didn't know what to do. Just glue it down, or I made circles. I made circles and they became pockets or text spots for these little journaling cards right here. Plus, I tried to put a napkin on book pages and stuff, and then I made a journaling spot with the paper that I usually pick up, like whatever leftovers are there. If I use ink or whatever, then I basically, I have pickup papers. That's what I call them. I pick up whatever is there. Like I said, if it's ink, if it's like sprays or whatever, I don't want them to go to waste. I don't clean them up. I pick them up with my piece of paper. Okay? That's just how I am. I like to use everything. So there's that. And then this was a piece of an envelope my friend sent to me from Germany. So I thought it went perfect in here, and I just put a die cut and a little wax seal on there, a little piece of paper. As you can see, I have sewn on top, and this was one of my art things. And somebody told me, and I forget, I didn't do it here, but I got told to sign my art. So I'm going to. It's not signed anywhere, right? Yep. I'm gonna sign my art. Okay, this was super easy to make and so much fun. I am not an artist. I wish I could draw and everything, but I just can't. I know now that you can learn everything, but in my brain it was always like, no, you can't, so don't even try. But I tried, and I played a lot with the watercolors, and I got a lot out of it, I will say. And then I thought, I need something for the side. And I have so many beads. And I have so many sequins. So I actually went and I put beads and sequins and everything on a piece of jeans. You know? So I think it's perfect. That's just what I think. Now, here, I had somebody sent me something with die cuts that you just pop out. And whenever I popped them out, I thought, ooh, I love this piece of cardstock with the holes. Hold on. Okay, my secretary Alexa told me what to do next. Sorry about that. So I thought, oh my God, I need to do something with that. It would be such a cool journaling page. So I decided, I believe I started out with this, with the journal. I don't know. I wanted to try this so bad. So I just took a piece of plastic that was a bag, and somebody sent me something in this bag. And then I took a printable with flowers, and I made it the way that it actually fits into each of the cut out holes, I guess. I don't know how to call this. I coffee dyed this cardstock myself. So from the other side you can write. You could write here, anywhere, right? And then you just stick it in the pocket. And I know that, oh, I have stuff around here. It's a little hard for my hands, but it really is not very hard to stick back, as you can see. So it's pretty easy. And it worked out so good, and I loved it. I have plastic, and I have trash, basically, and everything in here, right? So that's another one of my little layouts, I guess. I had this girl for years and years, since I was making pocket letters and everything. So this time I used her up, and she's just on a piece of packaging paper and a little book page, you know, and then I have sewn around her. And this in between came from, I think my hubby ordered shoes, or Michelle ordered shoes, but it really, it just sounds so nice. And then I have sewn around it, so you have a journaling spot here right now. Now I have a card. I had cards like this. I cut up into pieces, like the flap I cut off, and then I decided, oh no, I was making butterflies for some other project, I think. And then I left this because I loved the negative, and I put napkins there in the back. This is napkin, and it looks so good. And I'm like, okay, what else can we do? Put some old tape on top? Sure, so things can slide in easier. What else can we do? Let's do some cross-stitching, but that's boring. Let's put some beads on top, you know? That's just how it worked. And then I had this, another piece that's a napkin on a book page, and I just sewn around it, and I have put another piece of my self-made papers. I don't know, they are not coffee dyed. This one is stenciled, probably with leftover paints or something. And then I just put some little flowers on the threads here. This piece of paper I got from somebody, and it has holes. I got from a friend of mine, from a dear subscriber of mine, I guess. And I always wanted to put something in there because I've seen people doing that, but mostly on the side. So I put ribbon through that, and every time ribbon ended, so it stays in place, I put like a little pearl, not pearl, it's a bling, but it looks like a flower. Made a journaling spot. I did embroider my own flower. See that? I embroidered my own flower on the paper, and there's beads as well. So I have done a lot with watercolors and beads and embroidery, and you know, this was from my 100 days project where I made all of these papers here, and I'm happy I used one. And then this one had a pocket, and I just put this piece. I think I saw it, oh my god, Annalise channel, I believe it was. Is it stuck here? No, we're good. And this is similar to that. And this I learned from, I think, Natasha, from, you all know her. I forgot her channel. I forgot her channel. But if you remember, you can write down in the, I'm sure you remember. And then I just put some flowers here. But this is only like putting paint on top and just spraying it and letting it run. And this I learned from Annalise channel, because she just writes stuff on there and it looks so good. And then I put some paint samples on here, I guess, and I stamped a couple numbers, and I wrote something down there, and it turned out to be a good journaling spot that fits perfectly in here, you know. So there you go. And here I made a pocket, and the butterfly is not stuck down. The butterfly is a leftover from my mask making, I believe. It was on my table, so everything I see on my table is going into the journals. That's how I work. Everything I see around me is going into the journal. I don't know. It's so much easier, you know, than anything else. It makes a sound because it's like Mod Podge down there, right? But it's not really glued, like here. It just makes a little sound when you open it. And this looks like that. And I did not do anything here because it says butterfly and I liked it. And you can just journal around it, you know. It doesn't all have to be perfect. And I don't know, it's just, it can be what it is. Basically junk that would not be used otherwise. I believe this was a piece of packaging or something. I don't even know anymore. Something that would go into trash otherwise, and I have just sewn on it and made it a pocket, right? This was sent to me and I used it. I just used another piece of this and I distressed it, and this is one of my pickup papers. You see, it's so perfect. You know, there was probably, I was doing something and there was black ink, and this looks like distress ink. If I distress anything, I mostly use this, and this is from sticker paper that I use for my Etsy store, and I distress on this, so all the stains, they stay here. So I spray them with water and I pick them up with paper, so I get my pickup paper that I call pickup paper. And it has a belly band, and then I found some stuff on my table and I just put it on the corner like a decoration. And like I said, this booklet was sent to me and I was happy to be able to use it right here. And I believe I had another page in here, or maybe I took it out when it started to get bigger. Bigger and bigger and bigger. This one was in my book of ideas, and I liked it a lot, that you pop up something. So this part is popped up. I don't know if you can tell, but it is, you know, I cut out the flower and I put it on a piece of cardstock, so it's popped up. And each signature in the middle, I made like a little bookmark with beads, and then a little tassel, rusted tassel on the bottom. So you can bookmark something in each signature of yours. Okay, moving on. I have to be quicker, I think. I tried the swatches on fabric, and I loved it. And I just wrote down the names of the greens. which was cool. This one I made myself as well. I watercolored this, and then I just put a piece of paper in the back. But I used another piece of jeans and I put so many beads on it, and I love it, but it was so much work because a lot of the little beads, they don't fit through the needle, right? I still have alcohol ink on me. I tried to wash my hand. It didn't wash off, so I was like, okay, I'll keep it. It's just alcohol ink. So here I have another one that I tried out with my watercolors, and you can tell it's not an artist piece, but it's pretty. To me, it's pretty. You know what? I'm thinking right now I have to sign these too. Yep. Now I'm gonna sign everything that I made. All of my artwork will be signed right now. I almost signed it with my second name as well. Oh, hold on. How about my little... There you go. I like it. Okay, moving on. Just an envelope, as everybody can see. How do you go in there? You go here. You can put much more stuff into the envelope, but it was getting so bulky, I didn't need to put more in there. And you can see the flowers through here. See, pickup paper. And this was, I don't think I made it on purpose. I think it was just when I did something with the butterfly, I just put it on the paper so the leftover ink or whatever I put on it can come off and not be wasted. I hate waste. And you see, it's just a pretty nice paper that was basically made itself by itself, okay? I have a little card here in a tuck spot right there, and it's just dried flower and some leaves, but you can move it and you can write on here and you can write on here, and this is just basically decorational. You know, I laminated some dried flowers and leaves, and then you stick it on here and you're good. This paper is from my 100-day project, and I thought it went very well with this whole thing. And she is a hidden spot because she has those 4 corners, but one of them is not glued to her. So it is basically a stopper, like it holds everything in. And then she flips out and we have 2 journaling spots. And all of the little things I made here, I have somewhere in my playlist, Gigantic Book of Ideas, and I have 3 books already and I'm working on my 4th one. So there is a ton of ideas out there, okay? Believe me, you can make a journal. Another little stopper flower for my ribbon here, another journaling spot, and then I used a wire that I rusted to make a paper clip. Look what that looks like. I think it looks funny, but it's absolutely cool at the same time. I made this flower myself, and then I made the pocket, but I didn't glue stuff. This is from a printable. But you don't need a printable. You can use any kind of paper you want to use. I have so many printables, I have to use up some of them, okay? And this has a card. I drew this myself as well. And once again, we need to sign our name on here, right? Okay, let's sign. I love these. It was Bollenhut art, a German channel, where I saw it first, and then I'm like, I can do this. You know, I'm an artist because I can do this. Then I made a tiny little envelope and I stuck 2 teeny tiny cards there that you can journal on. And this envelope has a closure and it opens up and inside is a car. You want a car. Little moments. Maybe that was one of your moments. And you can write in the back as well. I loved the little car. And I wanted to put it in there. And then you see closure. It's closed. And it has a pocket right here. And then it has a tuck spot because I did not glue all of the bottom part. Right? Right here. My wonderful paper clip that looks like that. Yeah, it was my shoes, Skechers. I love Skechers, and just the other day somebody told me Skechers are not good for my feet, and I'm like, but I want my Skechers. And hold on, yeah, it's glued in a way that it has become a little pocket here. So I took the printable. Once again, I had another printable and I need to use them up. And I took it and I just folded it up in four. It was like this, and then there was more of the birds. But I just folded them all and I cut them in a tag shape. So basically you can journal here and then you can turn it this way, or you can turn it around and just stick it in this way, whichever bird you like most. And then there is a perfect spot, because of the way it was folded, there's a perfect spot for the little booklet. That's the second part of it. I'm not going to take it out anymore, but it's the second part, like I showed you before. Oh no. Package orders, okay. Like this one, same. Absolutely the same thing, you know, but with birds now. Then this is the second part of the envelope my friend sent me from Germany. And I just stuck a little, I don't even know what this is, on the bottom. And I put some distressing and crystal glaze. So it's basically looking a little bit like wood, in my opinion. And it had this natural fold here, so I used it. Maybe I want to rip off this tiny piece, so it's kind of not in the way. Okay, so it's basically a journaling spot for you now. Same here, and I put a butterfly here, and it says live, create, tell the story, repeat. And the butterfly is a die cut that I made from my weekly makes, where I use up, do I have them here? Yeah. You know, all of the strips from your paper pads that are on the very top. You know, a lot of paper pads, you rip them off, and then on the very top there's a little strip. So I started gluing those strips on a piece of copy paper, and I make die cuts out of it. So that's why it's stripped here. Stripped, striped, stripped, striped. I don't know English. This is my third language, so forgive me. This is one of the papers I love, because it was made with it's not mica. It's something else. Lindy's Gang Magicals, I think it's called. And look, it's just so pretty. You probably can't see. There is some shine and stuff, you know. And that's the second part of the butterfly that I showed you before. And this is the second part of the fold over shipping paper that came in folded over already. And it looked like pockets, so I just glued everything down. There's a little tuck spot here because there was a little piece of paper, and I just made it stronger with some cardstock. And then there's a pocket in here, and I put one of these you can journal on, and then another one of these. You see, it's the same thing, just a different color. And there is a journaling spot for you, okay? And then on the other side, I used, oh, I love this napkin. And I used it on a full a piece of book page, but I just cut it off, and I wanted it to fit. You know, I made the pocket first, and then I didn't know what card to put in. And I thought, why not put the same one, so it basically looks like one thing, but it was short because I ripped it off here, right? So I just glued it on another piece of paper that I made. And now it's a wonderful writing spot. It's long, it has a lot of space, but it also looks like I wanted it to look as if it was, you know, the same, just continuous, right? Oh, my little box that I made here. It goes like this, it opens up, and then you can, hold on, and then you can just open it, and you put all of your little, you know, receipts and pictures that you still want to use in this journal, and whatever in there. And then you close it up, and it stays in there. And whenever you are ready to use it, you just open it up, and you take it out, and you use it. And I did not fill it, because my journal is filled to the rim. Okay, and because it's so chunky, now you will see something. I leave a lot of space in between, okay? Because if they would be stuck next to each other, no way you could put them flat like this, because they would be just so stuck, it would be impossible. So the space that I left, I wanted to decorate somehow, right? So I put this trim down there, but it wouldn't hold on very well. So I put in each sleeve, I have embroidered, and then I have embroidered flowers everywhere, and put some bling into it. I like it. I think it looks so sweet. I like it, you know. This is another printable that I have made. Some lace here and there. I think it's only on the outer parts of the signatures, the lace. I believe so. I don't know. I didn't do too much lace. Another basically collaged, I guess, just with stuff I had. I glued it down and I have sewn because I needed to sew this down. So it's sewn from here and it's glued from the other side, but it has become a tuck spot here because there was so much space, and I just tucked another one from this, of this flowers, and then a piece of paper that is my pickup paper, believe it or not. There's like stenciled and everything. And then to make it sturdier here, because it started to bend, I needed to make a sturdy pocket. So I made a pocket and I used this. This was from a printable, don't ask me who, but it went so good with all of the colors that I used. I'm not a colorful person. Usually my journals are not that colorful. I feel like this one is very colorful. Even though it's still kind of neutral and vintage looking, right? And this somebody sent to me and I thought this went perfect into this little pocket. And then we stick this into the tuck spot and everything stays in place. And this was just, I don't know, somewhere in some packaging. So I took this because I thought it's pretty. It's kind of covered up and you can still see the prettiness of my artwork right here, which I have to sign once again. There you go. And this made me feel like I'm an artist, because those are just blobs of red color you put on there, and then you kind of pretend like there's petals. And then you put green all around it and you kind of pretend like there's leaves. I could do that. And you see, I've sewn it onto this page. I've glued, no, this is glued and this is sewn. So glued, sewn, and then it flips out, and this is my artwork. But you know what? This is from actually Boyenhood Art. She got something similar, and I thought, I love it. I can do it. You know, all the easy things that make you feel good, go for it. Just go for it. And I glued it like on this piece, so it's kind of coming off or up, so we can write here or here or here and then here. And this was just a leftover from some watercolor paper that I had, so I stuck it on the side so it looks pretty, right? And this is another one, but in a different color once again. And then here is just a writing spot, and I put a sticker on there because I don't use stickers. This is a leftover piece from another piece I will show you later, and I just wanted to use it because it was on my table and it became a tuck spot or pocket or whatever you want to call it. Some of my pages are sewn, some of my pages are ripped, you know. Oh, see, there's another one, but it's purple this time. Every summer has a story, it says. And there's a little birdie, and it's a pocket. It's an envelope, actually. It's glued from the other side, the flap. And then inside here is a little birdie book. You know, you can write your stuff in there about birds. I know nothing about birds, just so you know. And I don't like things to like flip around, so I make closures. So I made a closure for this. And then here on the bottom, it's one of my strips again. And I have a lot of leftover threads from my embroidery, so I make things like that. See, I just stitch the leftover thread because I just can't waste stuff. So I make this. So whenever there is leftover thread on my needle, I will just stitch it on like a strip of paper I find. Some of them are from here, some of them are like ripped off papers from something. So I try and reuse as much as I can. Okay, this is a very long flip through. 35 minutes, geez Lord. There's another one of these. You see, I just decorate with that. This one I made myself. I love it. It was one of my very first tries. And then I did put like little pearls and flowers on here, you see, just to make it more decorative, I guess. And this is a belly band. And I stuck a piece of paper with the same flower This is, I stamped on the fabric and I tried to embroider it, okay? It looks a little different than this now, but it's the same flower actually. And this is an envelope, I believe. Yeah. And I just, I will have to untie it to show, right? I don't really want to untie stuff because my hands don't tie very well, but that's a flip here. So it holds your card basically inside. And that's just a journaling card with my pickup paper again. And there is a big pocket in there. I didn't put anything in there because it's too much already. And then I cross it and I stick it through the hole. Oh, it goes better than I expected with my hands. I have fibromyalgia, and fibromyalgia is no good to my hands. For some reason, it's my hands that are, my brain and my hands that are affected a lot. So it's kind of hard sometimes to create. But there we go. Here was a leftover string as well, so I put some bling on that as well. I have done this too, and this is from Zikita's Coffee Stain, I think. She showed something and she did this, and I was like, all right, I can do this. Everything easy that makes you feel good about yourself, I'm here for it. I have cross-stitched a little bit on top of it, and it's just basically runny, whatever, watercolors. That's it. That's it. It's everyone can do this. If I can do this, everyone can do this. I did it on the book page. I stick two together, and then I put something in the back to write. And this was one of my tryouts on my new sewing machine a while ago already. A year, 2 years, I don't know. But you see, it goes wrong way around. And I just tried the different stitches, but then I thought, I'm not gonna toss this. It's a perfect journaling page, right? And it is. Then another one of my art that I'm gonna sign. Those are basically just blobs of red and blobs of green that you make look like leaves. And then I believe this was Annalie's channel that she just, she has stitched around it in like a spiral. But I put some beads in the middle as well because I need to use up my beads. And this has become a pocket. Big pocket. Nothing in it. Okay? Nothing in it. Was this? I think this was another one of the packagings that looked like it was, you know, folded in a way that became pockets. So I just collaged stuff in it, as you can see. And then I made it a little tag from a printable. I put two pieces together and I put a little bow on it and a little wonky clock I put on it because I love the wonky clock. And then this one I drew myself. Yes, I did. And if you knew me, you would know that I just can't draw. A couple of years ago, I tried to draw a star and it was a disaster. So believe me. So I started doing this stuff. And once you start, you can watch YouTubers and you can sketch. And if it's not to your liking, you can always toss it. It's just a piece of book page, you know. But I would say all of them. Everything I've done, I like. I don't know. However, this is just a little bit of a collage here with a piece of printable that was left over. That's another one of my flowers. And it's just a layout because I had a piece of printable left. I just stuck it to the page. And then all great things have small beginnings. Yes, they do. And I think it looks good. This is all leftover things. This is from a book I took apart. This is from something I made and then I cut off a piece with my decorative scissors, but I kept it, of course, because it's a decorative edge now. This was from a punch, but it was actually trash. It punched out and this came out to throw away, but they look so pretty, so of course I'm keeping everything. Good Lord, someday I have to stop. Okay, this was a printable of the front of an envelope. So I just put it here on a junk mail envelope, right? I folded the junk mail envelope, the backing of it, and I stuck this on the front. And then I folded it up in a way that it just looks like a letter, but then there is so much writing space, right? So if you want to journal, there is so much space. This is one of my pickup papers as well. Believe it or not, it's so pretty. It looks even embossed already. However, I did embroider on paper. I would not recommend embroidering on paper because paper rips, right? And it's hard. And then I put some embroidery here, and two of the, remember Dollar Store had this, they are, I don't know how you call them. It's not really bling. It's like soft something. I don't know. Where flowers bloom, so does hope. So I made a little card, and then I just put this one in there. And this is made with some napkin as well. I tried to use my principles in a way that I would like them, because I don't know what to do with the principles, okay? I don't know. And I had a whole bunch of them. So you cut them out basically, and then they are white here. And then what do you do with them? So I ripped out the middle and I put a napkin in there on a book page. And I think now it looks much better. And you can journal here and maybe glue something on here. Okay, a little bit of washi tape. And then I had the leftover piece. I made a spool, and I needed to cut circles from cardstock packaging. This is packaging, by the way. And I had all the leftover pieces that I wanted to use. So I just ripped a hole in a page so I can see the next page. Half a butterfly and the flowers. And this is the middle of the second signature. So it has the beaded bookmark, basically. I made this myself. That was the first time I learned that you can actually embroider 3D flowers. Look, they all come up. They're not stuck. It's incredible. And then I had so much space here that I put a little picture there, and then a little charm there, you know. I was just going out of it. And this hole is perfect because it also shows the flower if you flip the page. This is the middle, and it's a principle, so nothing to it, right? And that's why I try to make something out of a principle, because I don't know what else to do with a principle. I don't know. People who know what to do with principles, they amaze me, because there's not much to do. There's not much creativity, in my opinion. I'm having a hard time. Here I just took a card and all the leftovers from everything I had, and we have a journaling card. And I made those paper clips myself. I just put a, what you call it, bead, pearl on it, and then I wrapped the ends. You see? So this doesn't come off anymore. I don't know. Looks good. This is the second part of this packaging folded thing. And here I just have something that I made myself. I crocheted, and then I decided to put a little picture there. And of course I had to put something to hang there, because that's just how I am. And I made some cross stitching here to connect the two pieces of paper. And of course I needed something to hang from this. So I put two more hearts there, because this one says love. And I'm so glad I used up this one sticker, because I had it for years, I think from Dollar Tree. And then on the other side, there's just decorational piece. You know, I laminated die cut. And then I have another little birdie booklet right here that can be used. And then this is, I rusted myself, and it leaves rusty spots, but a rusty paper clip, it will leave spots. So telling you right now, this I just trust a leaf, and then I figured, hey, it left such a nice impression. I can use it as a journaling card, which I do. You see, I put a little gesso on there. And now you can journal on here, or put more gesso or whatever. And this is another one from the painting, like with the color, with the paint and then spray. And I thought it would look good if I wrap it around the page like this. And I put my rusty paper clip on top. You know, it leaves rusty spots. Okay, this is the envelope flap. And I just put swatches that I made on fabric. And once again, because I've sewn it, there's thread, and then I have to hang something off it. It's almost like an obsession. Almost like an obsession. I have to sign this one too, because this one are flowers that I made with watercolor and watercolor pencils and everything and anything. I'm just gonna sign it here. Okay. And then there's like 3 layers or something, and I have just connected them with these. These are actually tabs, but look, they're very good connectors. And while we're on it, we're gonna sign this one too, because I made this one too with my watercolors. And once again, it's stuck with one of the pearl paper clips that I have made. This one I made for my book of ideas as well. It's an envelope where I have stitched and I have put fabric around, and it's a pocket. And I didn't fill every pocket. And I believe this card went into the pocket, if I'm not wrong. I think this went like this. And I made this card myself as well. So I'm gonna sign this one too. Okay. See? You can make them all different sizes and colors and everything. I believe this one here. I didn't know where the card came from. And then this is the other side of this weirdly thin paper. And I tried to sew on it, but it didn't work out. But it didn't bug me because it's still there. So I'm good. This I made to keep this straight. Once again, same thing. Just a little check in there. And then I glued this. Happy looks amazing on you, because I think he tried to dress up Happy. I don't know. That's what I thought. One more of my embroidery stuff. Oh my God, I learned so many stitches in such a short time. I'm like a professional already. And then this is the other side of my printable that I made myself, right? You see, I have one of those bows and I put it here. The only thing that is like I didn't notice at first was that this is glued on top. That I glued this on top and this was on here, and the signatures are going to be together. But I think it's fine. And then in the middle there is the whole shebang like in the first one. Okay. And then we have some lace and fabric leftovers. And this one was just, I die cut something for my store, and then this was left as a negative, and I thought, I like it, why not use it? So I used it, and I made a little swatch thing with all of my watercolors, and I just put a tab on top. And see, it's a colorful journal, guys. When did I make a colorful journal? And it says all you need is sunshine. Yay. These I made in my weekly projects. And here I just went with my charcoal because it left an impression and I loved it. I really do. It's like, what? Where did this come from? You know, these I made in my weekly project. This I made a long time ago from a principal. I didn't know how to use it. Now I just stick it in here and I call it a day. Then I cut a hole here so I can see the pretty flowers. And this is plastic that is inked up and then stamped on. And it says, guaranteed strictly high grade. And it's not really high grade here. But it's just a collage. And then I cut out a window basically to see this. Okay. But you can still write on top of it. And then this was an envelope, a part of an envelope. And I just collected everything that was there and I sewn it on top, and you know, things that I just do, right? This was from a magazine, I believe. It's like about plants and stuff. And this I found at the library and I cut it apart, you know, and I just stuck 2 cards in there. You can write on these pretty good, actually, with a marker or something. And I think this was the signature, the first signature I started to make. I'm pretty sure. But then in the end, everything was different. So I had threads, and of course I had to glue something on it. And it has little tags on it as well. You know, number 31. And it's just, because there's thread, something needs to hang from the thread. Because then you can play with that. That's how I work. And I cut some frames. I actually have the leftovers from the frames still here. It's still here. See? This was the inside. And I'm still keeping it because I'm thinking I can do something with the inside. There is a dried flower that I laminated. And then there is a birdie in this little pocket. I believe it was like a leftover piece of paper or something that I wanted to wrap around the page. And then to make it prettier, I left the birdie out a little more, and then I stuck this in, and I wanted the birdie to be a little bit in the frame, basically, if that makes sense. It doesn't really matter. And then I made another one for the second part, it's just wrapped around. And it's the same thing, but it has a clock or a watch, clock, and a laminated leaf. And it goes like this. And this is a pocket as well, but I didn't put anything in this pocket. Okay. And then I have just sewn a piece of packaging onto this page. And because it had threads, once again, I had to put something on the threads. That's just how I work. You know, I found this when I was cutting apart my papers, and it says create, and I loved it. So I put it on here, and it's basically another pocket that I didn't fill because, as you can see, it's very full already. And then on the other side, it just says my story and a little piece of a book page. Right here, a little bit of lace. I have embroidered, I have put bling, I have done so much of this. And then this says just imagine, and I feel like she's imagining stuff, right? And this was the paper from where I cut this, and the negative looked so good, and I'm like, I'm not gonna toss it, I'm just gonna use it here as a pocket. And it worked out pretty good, I would say, right? So it's like I folded it over and it became a double pocket, basically. Bless me. Okay. I need to sneeze sometimes. This is a belly band, decorated once again, you know, and I like that this is movable. I don't know. It doesn't serve any purpose. Just to, I guess I like to fidget with things. Maybe this is an ADHD journal, you know, for people who like to move things, play with things, and, you know. I had a strip of paper left here, so I put it right on there. I had leftover little cutouts here, or papers that, you know, I just stuck everything on top of everything, and I made a little tuck spot. And these papers are book pages where I pressed the blooms or the petals of red roses. And look, it's purple that comes out of there. Purple juice from red roses. And I have this one. I had it for a long time. I made something for my book of ideas, and then this was like left over. So I used this. Very happy about that. I have the little girl here and the little man here. Oh, I know I need to do something. You see, I just ripped again, so you can kind of take a peek on what's on the other side. And this is an envelope that I thrifted, and I made a copy of. I got it at the antique store. And I just made a copy of, and I tried to make it look a little bit vintage. This is another part of the envelope my friend sent me from Germany. So I wanted to use it, of course, because it's perfect. And sometimes I just stamp on leftover book pages, because I have so many empty book pages or half empty. I don't know what to do with them anymore. But then I stamp on them and I keep them in the box, and then I have stuff ready to go. I just have to remember to use it. And now I know that I have to distress something, because I ripped this part off. It was a little too high. I have sewn the book, and then I decided to, hey, it's kind of low. I don't like it. Let's put it up a little higher. And then I forgot that I put it low so you can see the man and the woman, but I think we're good. All I need to do is just a little bit of distressing. We're fine. Right there. So now you can see all of her, if that makes sense. And this is the middle of the last signature. And there's another bookmark, as you can see. And not much done to it, just the sewing of tulips on here. Then here I once again used the leftovers from my die cutting to make a pocket with a little piece of plastic, and there's just a card, and they are on top of it to make it a little stronger. That's the next part of the same envelope, which I just glued a book page that I had laying around. I believe I might have made something for the beginning and I distressed on here or whatever, but then it looked so good. I'm like, I'm taking this. And it says go out and make things happen, and it has a little tag right here because it has become a pocket, right? So it's perfect. And then I stamped on fabric, and I have stitched here as well, and it became a belly band with a new card. Not a new card, with a card, and it says my story. And then wherever I cut out the butterfly, I love this so much, And this is one of my papers from 100-day project, which I loved else also. So I just stuck the negative onto the paper. It serves zero purpose. It's just decorational. It serves just zero purpose. It's not a pocket, it's nothing. It just makes the page stronger, I guess. This is another page from my 100-day project underneath, as you can tell. Then I made this pocket. It has a feather. That was sent to me years ago. And then it has this little birdie. And it has 2 of those journaling cards in here. And then you open it up and you can journal here as much as you want. You see? And then inside is another little journaling card. Right here. And then you close it up. And you put the birdie back in. You can journal on the bird as well. And you put the feather in. You don't have to take the feather out to do all of that, okay? It's just purely decorational. And then, so it doesn't flip-flop around, I like to make a closure, so I made this. This is just a little deco and another rusted clip. And it only holds this down, you know? This is a flip. I don't need to open it because there's nothing underneath. It just holds it down so it doesn't flip-flop, right? Which I don't like, which I told you 100 times already. And I made this myself again. And it says, where flowers bloom, so does hope. I like this saying. And of course, because there was thread, I had to put something on the thread. And I put two hearts on there. And I love how this is done. I've done it myself, I must say. I must say I love something I've done myself. I used some beads and everything. It's cool. I like it. This one is just a pocket. And it has the notes and the man in here. And you can journal anywhere. This is from a tea bag. It feels completely different to anything else. And this is a pocket. But I didn't put anything there. Just a journaling spot. Then here is a journaling card where I just stuck whatever was there, little pieces. And then, of course, because I needed something to hang from there, there's paper and a button and some bling, some pearls, some beads. So it's a journaling card, though. And this one is a junk mail envelope, which you open up. And then I stuck a piece from, I think this was from Temu. Many years ago, I ordered this. And this was a leftover from something that I distressed, and it looked like a little egg and background. So I'm like, I'm using this. Think happy, be happy. And then you can flip this down. And I made a pocket here, and I just stuck some flower and another journaling spot right here. Okay. So I think it looks good. And you can journal right here, and then you close it up, and you close it up. And it looks good. I didn't do much to the envelope, as you can see, but it holds the card. So it's decorated already, and there is some stenciling on the bottom, and we're good, right? And this is I love this little girl. It's a copy of a picture I got in the antique store. And this one has all these pockets, okay? 3, 4. You can stick stuff in there if you wanted to. And she's in this plastic pocket here because I wanted to see her all the way, right? And it says good memories. So when you take her out, you can flip it up and you can write on it. And then there's like a little secret text spot underneath as well. So you can stick a card in there and do more to that. And then you stick her back in. And it's in plastic. It's just a plastic bag that I have sewn on top of decorative paper. And then I thought, she needs a heart and she needs a little bit of this and that, which we did. And maybe those are her parents when they got married. You know, there is a little camera charm because somebody took this and it says meant to be. And this is just a paint swatch, you know, that I have ran through an embossing folder. And then they are right here, you know, and they can be a stuck pot. Oh my God. Stuck pot. Tuck spot as well. Stuck pot. That was the funniest. See? And this one could be a pocket as well if you wanted to. If not, just leave it. And you can just, it says remember, and you write down stuff there. And I have used the heart stitch on my machine. I thought it went perfect with all of this, you know, and the color, everything. Okay, so then the leftover Here, a strip of my packaging paper that I had. It's just sewn, and there is a pocket made of this flower. Oh, see, this one I didn't see. It's a long thread, and I cut all of the long threads off because I didn't want them to get stuck with the charms and everything. And there is another half of a butterfly in a different way, and I put some of, I don't even know what it is anymore. Glitter glue or glitter glue? I don't know. No, not art glitter glue. It's just Studio G glitter glue. I need to finish this up, so I just put it in there. And I stuck some old tape there. I gessoed it, and so you can write on it, actually. Another one of my paper clips, which holds this card that is made from the strip paper, right? Striped. I don't know, but it's strips of paper. So I don't know how to say that. And then I just die cut with this is a Tim Holtz, I believe. And then I had a butterfly from book page, but I stuck another butterfly on top, and I just have sewn here, but I didn't glue it. So it kind of looks like it's loose, And this is a journaling card. And then here is basically the spot to hold my envelope. This is an envelope. This is just like a little collage, but you can write all over. There's another card stuck in the envelope, and then you push the envelope in here and it stays in place. And I say it all the time, I just don't like things to flip-flop around, if that makes sense to you. I do not know. There is just a piece of paper you can write on. This was stamped probably 6 years ago when I got the stamp, and I tried it out on a piece of paper and I kept it, So it became a pocket. Apparently I cut it out or something with the paper, and it was like this, and I'm like, I'm using it. It's a perfect pocket, right? And then here is a little collage that I have made into a pocket. So he is stuck, and there's another butterfly from this paper, but it's a pocket, but it's a collage, if that makes sense, okay? And that's the last thing here, because that's the last page, and I just put some lace here. And I did make a writing board that looks like this. Believe in miracles. And this is, I watercolor this myself. That's why it has my name. For the first time, I wrote on my journal, made with love, but by Fun Life on the Budget, Irina, 2005? 2025. Oh my God. I'm in 2005, guys. 2025. I don't think I can fix it. I need to put something on there. 2005, where am I? I hope I didn't write everywhere 2005. Well, if I did, I did. But this is, when you go here and you want to write, all of these things are kind of hard to write on, right? So you just stick something underneath like this, and you write on your writing board. I would write from this side, Same here, because there's a paper clip, for example. You can write like this, but if you write like this, the paper clip is going to annoy you, right? It's going to rip the paper or whatever. So I like to make a writing board if it's really necessary. So there it is, the writing board. Oh, there's more charms, and I have embroidered more, and I have sewn more. And you can see the charms. There's like a little diamond. And they have patina? How do you say it? Patina? I'm not sure. But they have like all these little charms that I rusted. And they look all so good. Some beads and charms and everything is hanging there. I love it. I really do. And this is how it looks like when it's not bound, basically, by the closure. And it's amazing. I love it. I love it. I don't know about you guys, but then I don't know. I love it. I love it. And it took me so long. I looked up, I think I've been making this one for 9 months. So imagine that. I don't make more than 1, maybe 2 journals in a year. Maybe I start the second one, but this one was 9 months. So there you go. I just can't make many more. So yeah, I love it. Let me know if you liked it, If there's anything that you didn't like, maybe. No, don't let me know if there's anything you didn't like. keep it to yourself. Only let me know if you liked it. Because you know what? I don't even care. I love it. I love it. It's a piece of art. It's definitely a labor of love because there were so many little tedious things that I had to do to get it to this point, especially on the cover, that I'm just, I'm proud of this. I love the journals and I want to keep them all to myself. I know I can't because I have way too many already. And every time I tell myself I'm going to put it out for sale and then I don't. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. And I hope you guys are all healthy and happy and having a good day. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.